So nobody likes paying taxes, especially, when you think they're being wasted or not going to good things. So as a Jesus follower, should you pay taxes? Well, today you will find out how Jesus answered that question and why. Jesus said, yes, pay your taxes. Not fun to hear when this is recorded. It's almost tax season coming up on April 15th. But welcome to 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. And the point is to help you experience life to the fullest, the Jesus way. Today's Jesus said comes from Matthew 22, 17 through verse 22, and we'll be reading from the NLT version today. Now tell us what you think about this. Is it right to pay taxes to Caesar or not? Now, before we go to verse 18, these were the Pharisees asking Jesus a trick question here. Verse 18, but Jesus knew their evil motives. You hypocrites, he said, why are you trying to trap me? Here, show me the coin used for the tax. Then they handed him a Roman coin. And he asked, whose picture and title are stamped on it? Caesar's, they replied. Well, then he said, give to Caesar what belongs to Caesar, and give to God what belongs to God. His reply amazed them, and they went away. Now, this was a trap. In verse 15, we're told how the Pharisees met together to plot how to trap Jesus into saying something for which he could be arrested. And this was a lose-lose trick question. But how Jesus responded to this is, for me, one of the most incredible examples of his wisdom and genius. What they were wanting him to say was Caesar is bad. And then that way he would be more likely to be arrested. But Jesus responded a total different way to this trap. Now, does this principle apply to us? Well, the scriptural principle is in the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, every word should be established. Well, how did Jesus' own disciples respond to this? Well, Paul in Romans 13 said that everyone must submit to governing authorities, for all authority comes from God, and those in positions of authority have been placed there by God. So anyone who rebels against authority is rebelling against God, or what God has instituted, and they will be punished. So unpacking that a little bit, today, you hear so many say, but our government is bad. Well, if you think our government is bad, you need to study the Roman Empire that would execute Paul. But his perspective was, we submit to governing authorities. Not in compromising God's standards, but submitting in honor to God. 1 Peter 2, 13 through 17 says 13 through 2, says some of the same things. It says that everyone must submit to governing authorities, for all authority comes from God, and those in positions of authority have been placed there by God. So anyone who rebels against authority is rebelling against what God has instituted, and they will be punished. And then in verses 13 through 17, he says, for the Lord's sake, submit to all human authority, whether the king is head of state or officials he has appointed, for the king has been sent to punish those who do wrong and to honor those who do right. It is God's will that your honorable lives should silence those ignorant people who make foolish accusations against you. For you are free, yet you are God's slave. So don't use your freedom as an excuse to do evil. Respect everyone and love the family of believers. Fear God and respect the king. Now, at this time, the king was not a good guy. And if you think our politicians and our government is bad, well, they are all Boy Scouts compared to the Roman emperor rulers and those appointed during this time. And during the time when Jesus was asked that trick question. And this is still a trap for us today. But the real perspective is when we follow Jesus, he is our Lord and Master, not the government. But we also submit to those over us because we are submitting to Jesus. Now, if man's rules would cause us to disobey God, that's a different thing. But if we have another opinion about what the government is like, that's not justification for rebellion. Who are we rebelling against? Well, God. You see, this wasn't just about taxes. I mean, think about this. What about speed limits? What about city ordinances? What about seat belts? Don't fall for the trap that hypocrites are trying to set. 1 Peter 2:15 tells us, again, that it's God's will that our honorable lives would silence those ignorant people who make foolish accusations against you. And Jesus didn't fall for that trap. Jesus said, yes, pay your taxes. How can you put that into action today? Thank you so much for listening. If this is meaningful to you, it really does mean a lot to me when you like it, when you share it, when you comment. I really appreciate you. I hope that you have an amazing day, and I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest, the Jesus way. And remember, follow Jesus today. Love first.